What you doing?
Oh, hey guys. Just dreaming about paintball lanes.
Do you want to shoot some lanes today?
Let's do it. All right, guys. So we're here outside, out back of my house, and Doug and I thought it'd be a good idea to try and do some, to do like a tutorial and kind of go a little bit in depth on shooting paintball lanes. This is going to be for your back players mostly, but hopefully some of the, you know, like 2 players can also pick up on this. So yeah, without further ado, a few things I'd like to say before we even get started is, you know, it's going to take practice to get good at it. If you're somebody that's just beginning with lanes, you know, just a lot of time behind the gun is going to be important. So, you laughing?
No, my neck hurts from laying like this.
Oh, okay. All right. So, and a few things to note, I guess, would be like, first thing that we're going to talk about is like positioning off the bunker. Another thing I'd like to mention, which it's funny that I should say this, but if you're about to play paintball, especially a tournament, I suggest not working your upper body out before you play the tournament, because I'm realizing that as I'm trying to do this before we are on camera. So just a few things to consider before we get into it. So without further ado, we're going to get set up here. All right, guys, so we're here. I've got a table set up, and because we're not at a paintball field, if you guys like this and want me to explain it with a full bunker setup, obviously you can do that. Just leave it in the comments and we'll do that. But I think I'm gonna be able to get the point across without having to do that. So here's your start box. First thing I like to talk about is positioning. So there's 2 different ways that you can line up when you're on the box. And that's probably, it's a very important part of being able to get your paint out and get it up and in the air, so as people are running, you know, you're able to hit them. So 2 different ways. One way is to pull up just like this, okay?
I like to call that the gunslinger.
Yeah.
Or quick draw.
Yeah, the quick draw, sure. So the reason for that is if you're trying to pull up immediately and immediately get your balls into the air, it's going to be a lot quicker than doing the other thing that we call the crossbody position. So crossbody is going to be like this, and you're going to have to go across your body before you can put paint on there. So those are your 2 most basic positions. Now, if you're lined up and say there's a 2-4 bunker right here that you're going to, you're obviously going to want to line up. You're not going to want to line up this way. I see this a lot, where like people will line up like this, right? And then they'll pull up like this, but then they'll be walking like this. It's a lot easier to shoot people crossbody like this as you're running out to that bunker.
Because you can turn your torso so that your running motion is still a forward run.
Correct. The only time that ever happens is if, like, say the bunker is just right here, then it's a lot to have to switch, go like this, and then the second you get to the bunker to switch into that position.
That'd be if you're looking inside, right?
Right. So like sometimes if the bunker's right there, say there's no traditional home bunker right where Doug would be standing, and it's just slightly off base, there will be times where I will line up like this.
Because it's just one quick sidestep.
Correct. But if you're having to take, you know, a good solid 3-4 steps or anything past that, you're going to want to line up crossbody. Now for my home players, those guys, they're going to want to line up either right or left. And so if you're going left, you're shooting left side. If you're shooting right, you're shooting this side. Okay, pretty simple. But I see a lot of D5, D6 guys getting this wrong from the get. And the biggest tendency that I tell my D5 and my D6 guys is practice it the right way. Don't continue to do the wrong thing and get it involved into your memory bank that, like, hey, you know, like, this is the way I'm going to do it, because I'd rather have you guys fight it and do it the right way, and even if you're going really, really slow. Okay. So that's first and foremost. So home guys, we're going to use this tree. Doug, zoom in on that tree.
That white one?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's probably about the correct distance. It might be a little bit deep, but that's the bunker. That's the spot that we're going to be trying to shoot. Now, most lanes are going to be 2 to 3 feet wide. If we can hit that, then that's really saying something. So one thing that I suggest is, like, whenever I'm practicing a layout weekend, is the first thing that I'll do, first thing before my guys get out, my front guys and everything, it's just me outside, is I will practice just pulling up and hitting about 3 shots.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that now. And almost always I'm playing the home position, so I'm lined up like this. So tendency wise, I'm gonna shoot the way that if I can choose left or right, I'm gonna choose which hand I'm strong with.
Okay.
So I'm right-handed. So if I'm pulling up to shoot right back at the home, say for example, right, then I'm gonna aim for this, okay? So first thing I'll do, make sure your barrel's touching the box. That's also an important piece. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna and I'm gonna shoot for that tree.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm gonna do that. And one thing that I'll do is I'll actually just go like this and see if I can hit that tree.
Heard it.
Okay? See if I can hit that tree nice and slow, okay? And then I'll do it with the other hand as well. Now, okay, slow, okay? And then as the day goes on, you're gonna wanna speed that up. One thing that I don't see the home guys doing is I don't see them out in the morning, especially on a layout weekend, practicing this. And it's very important to get out there and get into your memory bank of like, I'm gonna shoot this, okay? Now, the next thing that you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna progress in the ramp, right? So like that is to get the muscle memory there. And I'll even say, you guys, like right before they're about to start, they'll go like this, right? And they'll come back down because they want the muscle memory. So that muscle memory is taking those first three to four shots. And the first thing in the morning is like, this is the lane I'm gonna be shooting the majority of the day, okay? And then secondly, after you're done with that, then you're gonna wanna practice getting your gun in the ramp. Guys, I can't express, especially with the new form of ramping, which is the NXL, the Millennium style of ramping, it's hard to get your gun into ramp.
Luckily though, Media Guy Doug just dropped a video on how to do that.
There you go.
Just put up one of these sides, either side of them.
Yeah, so back in the day, it was a lot easier to get your gun in a ramp than it is now. So what you'll see is when I'm shooting off the break, I will walk the trigger, even though it's a ramp. I will walk the trigger, but as the point goes on, I'll be doing one finger.
Yep.
But the reason I do double finger off the break,
because it starts the ramp immediately.
Correct.
So I looked into it for our old video, and it's about, you have to be pulling it at like 4.5 balls per second speed wise to get it to ramp immediately.
Right. So I'm going to demonstrate that now, guys. So once again, shooting out towards that small tree here. Okay. So 3, 2, 1.
Here, I'm gonna get your fingers.
3, 2, 1.
One more.
3, 2, 1. Right. Okay. The other thing to mention is once you've progressed, so step number 1 is this, up, shoot. 1, shoot, okay? You're gonna practice that, and you're gonna practice it with both hands. Second thing that you're gonna do is try and get your gun in a ramp. So 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, next thing is you're not gonna be stationary when you're doing this. You got that paint, Doug?
It's right over there.
Got some bright shell Reliant for you guys. So you're not gonna be doing this stationary, so that's the next thing to consider, is you've got your gun in a ramp, you've got your muscle memory down. The next portion of this is to be able to move and get out of the way of any incoming paint. Those are 2 other things that you have to consider once you've actually dialed in that lane, okay? So imagine there's a bunker here, okay? One thing that you're going to be cognizant of is whether or not the home can see you, okay? Because let's say there's an Aztec here, which is a shorter bunker. I stand over the top of it, I'm 6'2", is the paint may come back at you, okay? So as you're doing that, you're taking your step, and this time I'm gonna shoot wide, okay? I'm gonna practice shooting that guy right there, so, okay? I'm gonna practice shooting that. I've got the bunker here. One thing that I'm not gonna wanna do, guys, is come here, right? And be in the way of other paint. So you always have to be cognizant of, is this bunker ghosting me, right? Ghosting meaning I'm not standing directly behind it, but the shadow of it is...
Can you ghost it? Can you kind of hide behind it?
Correct. So as I'm doing that, and I'm actually gonna shoot right-handed like this, because it's so wide. This is a lot wider than it normally would be. But one thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here, right? And what I'm doing is I'm using that bunker to protect me.
There you go.
Okay, so that's probably the next thing that you got to be cognizant of is, can I move? Can I stay? And you saw me taking baby steps there.
Yep.
right?
Keeping the shot
now,
steady.
If you're going crossbody, this is a more advanced thing to do, is to be able to say hit that tree out there. Okay, to be able to hit that tree out there as you're going crossbody.
Yep.
That's something as a 2 that you're going to want to practice is, can I run wide and be able to shoot that? So Doug, get behind me. Okay, so I'm just going to do this twice. Okay, so in the general range there, right? Okay, so that's the idea there. So the next portion of that is moving. So we've got the muscle memory down, right? So muscle memory, 1, 2, 3, right? And then the next thing is getting the gun in the ramp. And then the thing after that is making sure that wherever your body position is correct and you're lining up on the box correctly. Then that's when it starts to get advanced. And the next thing would be like, where am I shooting? And then hammering down depth. So depth is always something that I struggle with, most people struggle with, is if you're shooting heads up and you're trying to shoot a lane, is as the guy's diving in, right, it's something you gotta be cognizant of is, am I shooting the right height? Because left to right vertically, right, for the most part, you're not gonna be shooting over here, you're not gonna be missing that way. But the way that you will be missing is, am I shooting way too high? Or am I shooting too low, right? Okay, so you always have to go out there and practice that and figure out, okay, my natural tendency is to shoot low. Some guys' natural tendency is to shoot high, okay? And then be able to adjust that in your muscle memories. I need to aim a little bit higher, I need to aim a little bit lower.
Do you ever do the thing where you find references of different bunkers on the field? Like, oh, if I skim it right over this bunker, that's the perfect angle. Or like...
Well, that's, yeah, so when it comes
layout dependent.
When it comes out to a wide open lane, right, I don't do that. But when I'm doing like a blind shot, so I kept the trampoline in the picture since we don't have bunkers.
Yep.
This is obviously a little high, right, for a bunker. But there'll be times where like, there was a couple of times last year where I would shoot over the bunker. I could never even see the guy, but I was hitting the guy the majority of the time because I knew if I shot a certain depth, certain height, that ball would fall in and I would never even see the guy. So that's more of an advanced thing. So, you know, like, see this tree right here?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm zooming.
You always want to shoot like right before a bunker.
Yep.
So then I might go 1, 2, 3, right? And that bunker's blocking me, but I know as it goes over the bunker, it's falling into place.
Right.
So that's kind of a more advanced thing. And you'll see the pros and stuff do that a lot, where like they'll blind shoot over something.
Yep.
And they just know like, hey, if I shoot, you know, or like where 2 bunkers might come together. So that's more of an advanced thing. I'd encourage you to practice that. Get out there with your front guys and have the front guys run it and be able to judge it. I actually think that's an easier thing to do sometimes than to shoot a wide open lane.
Yeah.
Because with a wide open lane, you have to decide, am I shooting for the guy that's running closer to me, meaning the front player, or am I shooting for the guy that's going deeper than me?
The short runner or the deep runner.
Right, and that also can be judged based upon, if you can see the start box on the other side, being able to judge, okay, there's 2 guys going, we'll call this the snake side. There's 2 guys going the snake side. One guy is lined up like this. If he's lined up like this, guys, it probably means he's gonna run. Now, sometimes guys will go like this and
then they'll pull some trickery.
Right? That's also a possibility.
I've even seen dudes stay in that running position and then pull up as they run and shoot.
Correct.
Total trickery. I've done it.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously like your...
That's some super advanced stuff.
Semi-pro D2 players, D3 players are gonna do that, right? So that's something to consider too, is depending upon how they're lined up. And are they angled? Do they look like they're running this way out towards the corner? Or do they look like they're running this way towards the snake? Right? And then that's gonna give you intel in your brain right before the buzzer sounds. Am I gonna shoot short or am I gonna shoot long?
Right.
Okay, and then I think the last thing I'd like to point out is, if you get really good from, and I personally don't recommend this, I'm not very good at it, but shooting a primary and a secondary lane.
Yep.
Okay.
Put your, like the whole first 3 balls thing, right?
Correct. So if you got somebody that's like running short to the 4, which is like the first bunker on any side, so like the 2-4, right? So usually on most fields, you've got a home bunker, you've got a bunker over here, you got a bunker over here, right? Dorito side, snake side. that bunker right there, sometimes it's wide enough that you can shoot that guy. But once again, like Doug was saying, it's the first, that's when you really are pulling up and you got to hit that first shot. Right?
Yep.
So we'll practice it here. Basically, here, come over here, Doug. So we're gonna act like my primary lane is the small guy, and then the secondary lane is my guy that's running, my front guy.
Okay.
Okay, and all you're gonna do is, your primary lane is gonna be the guy going in short, okay? And then your secondary is gonna be the guy that you think he's running to the
corner or something, or the, yeah.
Right. So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Kind of had a brain fart there. Notice how I never stopped shooting. I was trying to get my gun and ramp ASAP.
Yep.
Right? So same thing, I'll do crossbow. Right, so primary and secondary. You notice that I spent no time switching.
Yep.
I immediately pulled up.
You shot through it.
Pulled up, yep. Okay, so that's more of an advanced move. I know that I'm personally not good at it. Some people are really good at a short draw. If you're good at a short draw, then try it. But one thing that you want to be patient or notice is, like, statistically, how often am I shooting that guy? Am I shooting that guy the majority of the time? Or am I just shooting that for no reason? Would I be better off saying, screw the primary lane, and I'm just gonna shoot for the secondary guy?
Yep.
And let that guy have, because, you know, the threat is the guy that's going wide.
If you kill his wide guy, you can contain that.
Right. So, you know, most of the time, unless it's juicy, I'm just going to go straight. I'm going straight to that guy.
Right.
Okay. So that's more of an advanced move. And then the other thing I forgot to mention, which was the first thing I told myself I'd mention, is you never want to shoot somebody to trace them. Meaning, like, I'm going like this. Right? It's never that.
Right.
Okay?
You're leading them.
Correct. And you're judging body language. Okay? If the guy looks like he's about ready to dive, then you need to shoot for that bunker. Okay?
Shoot ahead of him.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, so I guess my point being is that you want to shoot right before a bunker, okay? And you want to shoot, most times people will tell you to kind of shoot about 2 or 3 foot in the air. Okay, so
Here, let me get behind you.
so right about height-wise, you want to be
Because you'll have the best likelihood of catching either their knees if they're running or their body if they're diving.
Bingo. Exactly. So you want to shoot short, okay?
Yes.
You don't want to shoot high. There's a good chance a good front player is going to see your paint really high.
And just go under it.
And they're just going to dive underneath it, okay? And so yeah, shoot before the bunker that you think they're going to go to. Judge body language, okay? And then the rest of it is stuff that I encourage everyone to practice. If you're a home guy or even a 2 guy, practice the cross body. But most importantly, first off, understanding your positioning on the starting box is really important. And then being able to quick draw 1, 2, 3, try and hit that guy full ramp, right?
Yep.
And then after that, then that's when things get interesting, because then at that point, you know, you might pull off the box. This is right dead ahead of me, but you might pull off the box, shoot that guy, right? And then you're moving, and then you're incorporating your steps and everything else into the picture there. So there's a lot to incorporate into all that. I would say practice it. Take a bag of paint out with you first thing in the morning. Practice it. Practice your blind shooting. Use your teammates as a resource to run, and pay attention statistically. How much are you actually shooting that guy? It might be the widest lane, right? You might be shooting the guy that's, like, you know, running through a gap that's from the trampoline to that tree right there.
Mack truck.
Yeah, huge lane, 10-foot lane. You're like, oh, I'm gonna smoke that guy, and then you go out there and you try it, and you're like, I can't shoot that guy to save my life. You know, that's happened to all of us plenty of times. So that's always something to keep in mind.
Sometimes it can be too much distance because there's too much, like, variable for them. They could run it deeper, more shallow, and you have no time to judge that.
Exactly.
So
that's why judging the body language and all that stuff is very important. So I think that's it. So if I have anything to add, maybe we'll do a second session out at the field.
Yeah.
But Doug, do you have anything else to add?
Not really. I think I was glad that you hit the point about the verticality of the shot. That's the one that I struggle with the most.
It's what everybody struggles with, right? Like,
Yep.
that's my main thing. It's what makes me valuable on the team, is to be able to shoot good lanes and try and kill that first guy off the break for our team.
I think too that taller guys like yourself have an advantage with lanes because you can drop the balls more on different spots.
Yeah, for sure.
You can kind of make lanes happen.
I like taller bunkers off the break.
Yeah.
Like, I like tall towers, and I like cans off the break. Cans are harder to play if you're a home guy as the point goes on. But off the break, they're great because you can do things. The other thing that I'll do with a can, because I'm tall enough, if you're a really tall guy, you can play where the can goes like this.
Yep.
I'll put my barrel right here.
Yeah, I've seen you do it.
Guys have tried to shoot me, but they can see my hopper, but they can't shoot it.
Yeah.
And I'll just go like this
And just drop on them.
and drop balls in on people and still be able to stay alive. So,
Bullshit. It's bullshit.
yeah, but yeah, judging body position off the gate and being able to figure out which bunker they're going to, because that's a big thing, is like your verticality is going to be dependent upon like where they're going to.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I think I talked long enough, but thank you guys for watching. If you guys have anything else to add, anything that I missed, please make sure that you guys comment, and we'll see you guys next time.
I'm so free.